Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to On the Fringe with me, Gavin, and my good friend Dave.
Hey, everybody. We have a very important topic that we are talking about.
We do, and it's a topic that not a lot of people have been talking about, at least in the United States and gosh, in a lot of places. This is about the U.S. military mission in Nigeria. And I think at that point, a lot of people will have gone, there was a U.S. military mission in Nigeria. Yes, Virginia, there was. It started, I think the official start date was in February. There was a deployment of about 200 soldiers. They were not in a combat role. They were not, as far as we're aware of at this point in time, anywhere near combat. But there were about 200 U.S. soldiers deployed in Nigeria from February of this year. And of course, this comes on from the Christmas Day bombing using Tomahawk missiles that happened 2 months before that deployment that targeted the Islamic State in Nigeria, which is a
Mhm.
significant force in that country's giant security crisis mess. But this is something
Well,
that
it's
yeah, go ahead,
not
Dave.
only in Nigeria, it's growing significantly in West Africa. So you have
Yes.
IS is growing in Mali, Burkina, Niger and Nigeria. We've talked
Mm.
about this a lot on the podcast in the last year and a half.
Yep.
And the US has stepped up in the last year to try to do something about this. And we were just talking about this a second ago. The
Mm.
US is not looking to solve the problem.
Which again goes against the messaging somewhat, because when the Christmas Day strikes occurred, the language that was used is that we were going to be defending the Christians in Nigeria, and the Nigerian government had to step up to defend Christians in Nigeria. And actually, what we've seen with this operation really has nothing to do with that. It was a surprisingly targeted operation, I would say, that mostly had to do with drone support and mostly had to do with targeted strikes against Islamic State leadership in the Lake Chad region, which, to be fair, is, probably the worst place to be in Nigeria and has been for a while. Um,
Now, I would even go farther than that and say it's probably one of the worst places to be in the world.
Fair. That's pretty, I mean, because things are not great in Nigeria. And again, this is worth remembering that genuinely the situation in Nigeria, whether you're in the west, east, south, or center of the country, from a security standpoint, is bad. It's not good. Some areas are worse than others. Lake Chad is really, yeah, I would tend to agree with you on that, Dave. It's not a place you want to spend a whole lot of time in. It's not a place
Yeah,
you want to spend a
the
whole
the
lot of time in. And unfortunately, a lot of people do live there. So it's not a great situation. But the operation is officially drawn down. Major General Michael Anoja, when asked about this, said that intelligence sharing between the U.S. and Nigeria is going to continue. And the U.S. has said that's going to continue as well. They also said that the operation had been a success. And I think they're largely saying this because of the strike that killed Abu Bilal al-Manuki, who was one of the senior IS leaders in the region. But again, this is the language that was initially used to launch this operation and what has actually taken place. Two very different things. But it's worth bringing up because not a lot of people
I've got
know
to bring up
about this,
something
I
too
think.
after you're done.
Go. No, go.
So,
I'm done.
all right, one big thing that you brought up is the fact that the US is having intelligence sharing with Nigeria. And if you go
Hmm.
back to 5 years ago, the US was not sharing intelligence with Niger. And that was one of the key reasons why the Nigerian government, correct me if I'm wrong, wanted the US out. And they saw the US as not treating them as an equal partner in their own country. And within the region, Nigeria can look at this and go, hey, we are actively working with the United States. We have something that the other countries in the region, have not had. We have an intelligence cooperation with the United States military. And I think this is a huge feather in the cap of the Nigerian military because they have direct access now to U.S. military intelligence. And I think the U.S. is looking at this from the perspective of we can fight these guys with intel. We can use satellites, we can use drones to fight ISIS. We don't
Hmm.
have to put boots on the ground anymore. We can use our technology and essentially let the Nigerians fight off ISIS in the Sahel guys. It's minimal cost, but at the same time, we can maximize our leverage. So it's a win-win for us. It's kind of a win-win for Nigeria. And who knows, this might work, it might not. But I think it turns into the fact that you're not going to have mission creep, at least now that the US, you go back to Afghanistan and Iraq, we're trying to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and I think that is, I think that was the parameters of the mission, certainly from the military side of things, is they didn't want that to happen again, and I think they were successful in that. I agree in that it's something that the I don't know if the Nigerian military, the Nigerian government is probably happy about it. The Nigerian military, again, it's it's been a great assist to them in that it seems like something that they've really suffered from, particularly in the last couple of months, where you've seen quite senior officers attacked and killed by bandit groups, by terrorist groups, is that it's something going back to Niger, going back to Burkina, something that's been a big issue for all these countries has been lack of intelligence, lack of information about these groups. And this is a huge step up. Whether it solves or causes a major turnaround for a lot of the security issues in Nigeria, I don't know. But again, in terms of being a very closely defined mission, which again is historically something the United States has struggled with somewhat, I think in that perspective, it's been a success.
We'll have to see how this plays out otherwise. We will be watching this.
We
We'll
will.
be keeping tabs on what's going on within West Africa throughout this next season of On the Fringe. And to
Hmm.
all of our listeners, we would like to thank all of you. Our podcast grew significantly in season 4. We've now jumped into season 5. I guess this is episode 1 that we're recording of season 5, and we're going to have a lot more on the way for you guys. So if you could do us a huge favor, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please leave us a comment or leave us a star rating. It'll take 2 seconds. It would mean the world to us. And Gavin, I think
Hmm.
it's time for something, isn't it?
Oh, it's time, Dave.
Mm-hmm. We need a drum roll.
It's button time.
Zoom didn't pick that up.